Hello everyone, welcome to Learn DSA Daily. Today we'll be looking at some few of the sorting questions. So here is our first question. Merge two sorted arrays. We have been given two arrays and we need to merge it in a sorted order. So let's look at the implementation. We have an array A and B. And we need to sort this array. So let's call a function. Now we'll declare the function. Now how can we merge the two sorted arrays? We can go through both the elements one by one and compare which of the element is smaller. Let's initialize one pointer for A and one pointer for B to 0. And let's create an empty array. Now we will iterate over both the arrays till any of them have some length. We will compare if A of I is less than or equals to B of J. If yes, we will append A of I and increment the I pointer. Else, we will append B J and increment the J pointer. Once this is done, the remaining, if any of the array has some values elements left, we will just add it to the result. So for that, we will extend the remaining elements. If we append, it will add the remaining elements as a sub array. So we will do rest dot extend. And same for B. If there is any element left in the B, we will like just extend it. And then we will return result. And now let's print whatever value is returned from this function here. So let's see this. Now both our sorted arrays should be merged and would still be sorted. If you see now, both our arrays are sorted, and now the resultant array is sorted as well. 2, 4, 7, 9, 11, 19. Okay. Now we will move on to the next question, which is merge sort. So right now we merged two sorted arrays. Now we need to merge sort one single array. So let's take an example. We only have one array which is not sorted. And we will call this function. So the sorted part will remain same. What we will do is we will create one more function, merge sort. And since this function is doing merge, we will rename this function as merge. And now let's create another function, merge sort. So how actually merge sort works? It divides the array into subparts. So if we have 6 elements in the array, it will divide it into three parts, and then it will again divide it into uh, one part each. So it will keep dividing the elements till we have one element in each subarray, and then it will merge it. And while merging, it will compare the smaller element comes first. So the same way we'll approach here. First, we will calculate the length of A. If it's less than or equal to 1, that is, we just have one element. So we will just return that element. Otherwise, we will calculate the mid of the array. We will calculate the length and divide it by 2. After dividing, we will take the two parts in left and right. So we have left. Now for the left subarray, again we will divide that subarray. So we need to keep dividing it till we have one element left. So now we will again call merge sort with the remaining elements of A. So we have taken the mid element. Now from the beginning to the mid, we are taking it in the left array. And in the right array, we will take from mid till the end. Right? And then we will merge the array. So for merging, we have this method already merge. So we'll just call this method, and we will merge the left and right array. Right? So now what we did, we kept on dividing the sub arrays into left and right till we have a single element, and after that we started merging one element with the another element, and we kept merging like this. So let's take an example. If there were only four elements, we would have divided it in two parts. Let's see this. Let's see this merging with this example. So we have done the merge sort, and then we are doing the merging part. Merge sort we will call it just with the E. And now let's run this. So now if you see now, our initial array was 3517298. Now it is sorted to 1 2 3 5 7 8 9. So how it works? Let's see, you have four elements, 3, 5, 1, 7. What it will do, it will divide it into two subarrays first, 3, 5 and 1, 7. Then again, it will divide it in 3 and 5 and 1 and 7. Now what it will do, it will merge the left part, like 3 and 5 it will merge, and while merging, it will check the smaller elements comes first. And the same it will do with 1 and 7. Now these two arrays are merged. Now we have 3, 5, 3, 5, and 1, 7. Now, while merging these two arrays, again it will check which of the element is smaller. So in this case, you can see one is smaller. So it will append 1 to the answer first. Then it will see, compare 3 with 7. Now 3 is smaller. So it will add 3. Then again it will compare 5 with 7. 5 is smaller. Then it will add 5. And then it will add 7. So this is how it's working. What we did, first we divided. We kept on dividing till we have one a single element. And then we started merging it with the same approach that we did earlier. Right? Moving on to the next question. We have sort arrays using count sort. Let's take example. Let's rename it to count sort and have another array. Or we can keep the same array. So how does count sort works? We'll see. Let's solve it, and while solving, we'll see how it works. First, we will check if array is not empty. If it's empty, we will just return it. Otherwise, what we will do, we will take maximum of the array. Max of A. So currently max of A is 9. So we will take the value 10. Now we are creating an array count and we are initializing it with 0 with the size, which is +1. Okay. Then we will iterate over each elements of A and update its frequency count. Then we will create an empty result set, and then we will iterate over this range, which is till the max value +1. So for number in range, so which we are checking if the count is greater than 0. And if so, in the result, we are extending that value num and x, and we are duplicating it the number of times that number num has occurred in the array. And then we will return response. So now let's see if the array is sorted. Let's add one more element. 2, 3, 4, 5. So if we see now, the array is sorted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9. So how does this happens is we took a max value. The max value is 9. So we created a bucket from 0 to 10, right? So we created a bucket and initialized from 0 to 10. Let's say it's an array and we have initialized it with 0. Okay. And then we are iterating over each of the element of A. That A is our number. And let's say we found 3, right? So what we did, we have this bucket array, right? Count of num. So count of 3. So count of 3 is the index 3. So index of 3 we incremented with 1. That means our index 3 has occurred one time, right? And this is how we have populated our count array. And then what we are doing, we are starting from 1 to the max value, and whichever element we are getting. So from 1, when we will go from 1, we see, okay, 1 has occurred one time, and so we will add 1 first. So this is how it is sorting. And why we are doing this count, multiply this count num. So let's say if a number 1 has appeared 3 times, and if I run this, okay. Now if I run this, you can see 1 is printing 3 times. So how is it happening? The index of 1 was incremented to 3 here when we ran this frequency part. And then what we did, while iterating over this max value +1, when the nums was 1, that time we checked the count of num is greater than 0, which is 3. So we extended result 1, and how many times would we appended it? 3 times, because 1 happened 3 times. This is why we are multiplying it with count of num. So this is how we can approach this problem. Now, next question we have is the smallest element using count sort. So we have this array. Let's keep the same array. And then using the same formula, same count sort, we need to figure out the smallest element. So how we will do that? The rest all of the implementation will remain same. We don't need result now. What we will do is, if it didn't form, if count of num is greater than 1, here itself we will return the num. Right? And if we didn't found anything, we will just return -1. Let's run this. So if you see now, our smallest element is 1. If I remove 1 from the array, now the smallest element is 2. Right? That's it for today. See you tomorrow. Thank you.